Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. UPND youths abide by President HICHILEMA'S advice not to spoil their dish. As Zambian youth develops a carbon-free aircraft. Join me with the Midday News in detail after this commercial.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
And now the Midday News in detail. A 26-year-old graduating student from the University of Zambia has developed a prototype aircraft which has zero emission in bid to help combat climate change. Onja Zani, who has been studying education psychology at UNZA, explains that he has a passion for airplane engineering but has always lacked funding. He explains that with adequate support from the Ministry of Technology and Science, Zambia may be able to manufacture airplanes locally, which will also provide youths with the much-needed employment.
This is a prototype of an aeroplane made by a graduating student from the University of Zambia, UNZA. After many years of research and hard work, Onija Zani, who lives in Lusaka's Chainda compound, has finally made a prototype of an aeroplane which can fly on its own with the help of a remote control. Key among the elements of the prototype is its friendliness to the environment during the time that the country is trying its best to fight climate change, as it has zero emissions of gases. Mr. Zani highlights how his project will benefit the country in areas like job creation if fully supported.
I would really say that this project will benefit the nation of Zambia to an extent that there will be a provision of employment to people who partake under this project, and also to bring more people on board. For example, people who are in the technology sector, they can actually utilize this project and bring very big improvement and development in the nation of Zambia. Mr.
Zani further explains that he hopes to go into aircraft engineering if funding is made possible, as aeroplanes are his newfound passion.
My greatest appeal to the new government over this project is that I desire that I should partake or participate in pursuing a career of being a pilot, and also or being an aircraft maintenance engineer, which I really desire to do. And also, apart from that, also I want to make this project established in Zambia to an extent that we can actually produce these drones in Zambia, made in Zambia, probably also export them to other countries within Africa and also around the world.
Meanwhile, University of Zambia lecturer of development studies Dr. Mwanga Mumba has called for such innovations to be seriously supported so as to see them develop into national projects.
Because I see this, if it is really supported, and then eventually, this has a possibility of helping young people, instead of looking for employment, that they can be potential employers. If such ideas are developed further, and then you're talking about ability of employing other youth. He
has further suggested annual fairs where citizens will be able to showcase their innovations in order to see the best projects being supported further. Zipora Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
United Party for National Development youths have stated that they are not in a hurry to see the fulfillment of the pledges made by President Hakainde Hichilema in bringing development in the country. Speaking at a major briefing held in Lusaka, UPND Lusaka Youth Chairman Anderson Banda says the UPND youths are so far happy with the policies and programs government has put in place in trying to restore a broken economy. And UPND Central Province Youth Chairperson Milna Mwanakambwe says President Hichilema should be given enough time to deliver his promise as opposed to being criticized unnecessarily by those who destroyed the economy.
Pressure has been mounting from some sector of society who have been demanding to see the implementation of some of the promises made by the United Party for National Development UPND in their campaigns. This has seen the likes of critics such as Patriots for Economic Progress PEP leader Sean Tembo, Forum for Democracy and Development FDD leader Edith Nawakwi, Patriotic Front Vice President Given Lubinda, and Patriotic Front member Raphael Nakachinda, among many others, criticized President HICHILEMA for failing to live up to his promises. But the United Party for National Development UPND youth, represented by 10 youth chairpersons from all the 10 provinces of Zambia, have explained that they are so far happy with the way President HICHILEMA is handling the country, and says they will support the president in his endeavor to fix what has been broken by the previous administration.
That we are in support of government programs, we are in support of government direction, we are in support of government policy, we are in support of our leaders who are ministers and the MPs and the council chairpersons. From all the 10 provinces, there is no one who will say, no, here they want to protest, no, here those are just propaganda coming from PF.
Of Zambia, houses now are made to be banks where millions of dollars and millions of monies are being kept. Madam Nawakwi goes to the hospitals where there's no medicine. She would not condemn the PF, she would not condemn that man, the former President Edgar Chagwalungu. But today she's there to open her mouth to condemn our President Hakainde Hichilema, even when he has just stayed in power for the past 1 month.
UPND Central Province Youth Chairperson Milna Mwanakapwe has shamed all those trying to tarnish the image of the president and has called on the Zambian people to give President Hichilema time to deliver on his promise.
Why my Zambians wanavote Hakainde Hichilema? Wanaona ni mundu, one, as a series of corruption, two, as a blessed development in Zambia, wanaika na PF because wanaona inakangio. Chilimonga mundu wakwatira mkazi, first month ya mene yo afuna ankare na mimba, month ya number 2 ankare na mwana, ya number 3 mwana ende shisuganiza bwe. I hate wa mdala wa Given Lubinda, wakamba no free education. Why are they using a budget ya mene wa PF fanasi? Wakamba tukule municipal 250 kwacha, why are they using a budget ya mene wefeweka wanapanga?
My colleague here did mention that it would be a fallacy and lack of realism for us to conjecture and believe that you can marry a woman today and the same day the woman becomes pregnant. If the woman becomes pregnant the same day, look at where she's coming from, with due respect to our mothers.
Zambians await to see the fulfillment of the campaign promises such as the creation of employment for the youth who turned out in number to vote for the new Dawn administration. Prudence Jota reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, the Rural Electrification Authority REA has projected that it will not be able to achieve the 2030 goal of having all rural areas electrified due to lack of adequate funding. In an interview with Camnet News, REA Board Chairperson Johnston Chikwanda says currently only 8% of rural areas have been electrified compared to over 60% of urban areas. He has since called for more funding from the new administration, stating that target areas for now are health centers and schools before the project can be rolled out to households.
Rural electrification has moved to about 8% now, whereas urban electrification rate is significantly higher. It's over 60% urban, but there is also peri-urban. But the biggest challenge we have is rural electrification, because 8%, in as much as we have achieved something, but it's still quite low. And so there is a need to ramp up the efforts. And we are signatories to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, of which one of them is goal number 7, which talks about universal access to clean, affordable and sustainable energy for all by the year 2030. Based on our current rural electrification master plan, it is projected that will end at 51%. But if this document is updated and more funding coming to it, then we can reach even no greater rate than 51.
The trial of new Labour Party leader Siwale took an early adjournment Monday morning as the court presiding over his alleged defamation case was indisposed. This is in a case where Mr. Siwale is accused of alleging that former Republican President Edgar Lungu is an imposter whose real name is Jonathan Mtawale. When the matter came up for opening of his defense at the Lusaka Magistrates Court, Mr. Siwale was informed that his case was not going to take off because the presiding magistrate over the case, Alice Walusiku, was not before court.
New party leader Precious Wale Monday morning failed to open his defense in a case he has been accused of defaming former Republican President Edgar Lungu in 2018. Mr. Swale, who made his appearance before the magistrate court for return of bench warrant, was informed that the court presiding over his case is indisposed. On the 25th of August 2021, a bench warrant was issued against Mr. Swale for failure to attend court session twice. However, he is expected to appear before Lusaka Magistrate Alice Walusiku on the 4th of August 2021 for return of bench warrant and explanation. In 2018, Mr. Swale was arrested and dragged to court and charged with the offense of defamation of the president after he alleged that former President Lungu is an imposter whose real name is Jonathan Mtawale. He had further alleged that Mr. Lungu must be arrested for having 3 national registration cards and he is an identity thief. Now Mr. Swale hopes that justice will prevail in his case, which has dragged for almost 4 years.
The matter has been adjourned to 4th November. For the return of the bench warrant. This is due to the fact that the presiding court is indisposed. So, and also the fact that my lawyers are also attending to the petitions in Eastern Province. So they're also not available. But they've liaised with the prosecution that the matter comes up and forth. Well, I believe that justice will come soon. We are very near to justice. Though it may have delayed, but we are very, very near to justice. Because the nation needs to know the truth about what transpired.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Media News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. UPND youths abide by President HICHILEMA'S advice not to spoil their dish. A Zambian youth develops a carbon-free aircraft. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Good afternoon.